Welcome back to another episode where I talk about my ridiculous fake grindcore band Puss Factory, which was on the popular social media platform MySpace. This particular song that we did was one that we had planned from the beginning when we first put this band together. We had some ideas about song titles and certain song concepts we wanted to do, but we also wanted to do a song for our 666th subscriber in the event if we ever got one. And so we started to get close. We started to get really close to having that 666 subscriber. And so the song on the MySpace album is called 666 Ride My Heart. Now this is one of the most bizarre stories of what happened when we were trying to create this song. It started out, what initially happened is one night I go and I log on our page, and we have a 666 subscriber. And I think his name was Matt or something like that. And I go to his profile, and it wasn't particularly interesting. It was kind of dull. He talked about his cat or something. He liked cats. And that was about all he really had to say about himself. There wasn't a whole lot of content there, and that's really what we were going to base the song off of, is it would be about the person. Well, nonetheless, he's our 666 subscriber, so we're just going to have to go with it. So we all get together the next night, and this time it was me, Jamie, Kyle, and then my friend Chris, who is the lead singer of my band Beastface, decided to come and hang out. He had sat in on one or two songs before. Well, we're getting together and we're brainstorming. We're trying to come up with some riffs and figure out how we want to do it, but there wasn't a lot to work with this guy's profile on MySpace. Now, MySpace is not really up and running like it used to, and you might not be familiar with it because it kind of goes back a ways. But it's different than Facebook and Instagram and that, where you're actually allowed to soup it up and it really customize it. In a lot of ways, it kind of looked like almost like a profile page for like a dating app or something, because you have to have like all these like lists of like what ethnicity are you, orientation, what your status is, are you married, are you divorced, what's your favorite band, what's your favorite food, all that. Anyway, his was just really dull and there wasn't a whole lot of content to work with. Well, then it got worse. Chris was looking at it and all of a sudden he was like, oh, wait a minute. He's like, I think I know this guy. Like, well, yeah, he's from Wisconsin and we were in Minnesota, so we're pretty close. I'm like, how do you know him? And he's like, Chris at the time was in this very toxic relationship. And this person apparently had been messaging this guy, or he was messaging her, both at odd hours of the night, and something sketchy was going on. And Chris had a very uneasy feeling about him, that there was some two-timing going on, and that this, in fact, wound up being our 666th subscriber. None of us were happy about this. This suddenly was the first time ever that Puss Factory was not fun. We were sitting there trying to come up with a song for this guy, but we really didn't feel like he deserved it. It was personal. The content on his page was dull. And we just started writing stupid stuff like how we like to kill cats, or we're going to kill his cat. And I didn't like the way that sat. And it was just like really perpetuating a lot of negativity. And I thought, man, we're stuck with this guy. He's our 666 subscriber. What are we going to do? Well, we all just decided to wrap it up that night. Called it a night. We didn't have a song. We had nothing. And everybody went home. And I go and I check the inbox on the MySpace page. And sure enough, this guy's messaging us now saying, hey, where's my song? When's my song coming up? I'm like, oh, God. This is so not fun. Like, now he's just like has this sense of entitlement. He expects us to make him a song. I'm like, what are we going to do? Well, I just messaged him back and said, man, we'll get your song done when it's done. Well, I think that set him off a little bit, because then he unsubscribed. I almost went out and bought a bottle of champagne. He was off of there now. Now we're back at 665. And we open it up now for a 666th subscriber. And sure enough, the next morning, I get up and we have a new one. This person went by 666. I'm sorry. This person went by Ride My Heart on her page. And Her name was Annette. Very interesting individual. Her page read really cleverly. She was very witty. Really, there was some funny jokes on there. She had a full bio that talked about how she was a musician. She played in a band called Alternate 15. She was a violinist, played an electric violin. She also was engaged to a guy named Adrian, who managed the Guitar Center in Austin, Texas. Now, this were all the makings of like the perfect person we want to do a song about. And so I've got the song here. I'm going to pull it up. But here's kind of a funny thing that happened too. Being that her boyfriend was the manager at Guitar Center, I guess they liked Puss Factory already. And they had the songs playing at the Guitar Center as the music. Now, I thought that was really cool but funny at the same time, because I'm imagining people going in to buy a guitar or just buy some guitar strings, and then they hear Puss Factory on the music. Like, what? Anyway, so like I said, she was a violin player, so easy one. Let's open up with some MIDI violins. So right away I busted out this little number for the opening. Actually turned out kind of cool. So we start putting together lyrics though based on her profile. And again, the way the profile was is there was like simple questions about you, and they can give little simple answers. Then there could be a whole biography. So we decided to do a verse where the verses were doing her biography, and then our chorus would be the refrain, Ride My Heart. But then you can hear I'm going to say, about me. And there's just her bio. The bio is our verses. Who I'd like to meet. Meet cool girls who aren't bitches. Yeah. She wants to meet people who can just sit around and watch zombie movies. Of course, the violence. Signature Ride My Heart. So there's our chorus, but then we do a breakdown after where it's her list of just status and her orientation, like her favorite things or whatever. And this is pretty funny too. We just pulled it right off of her page. Status engaged, bitches. Okay, that's pretty funny. So it said like, here for, or said status, engaged bitches, here for the free beer, orientation, left of center, ethnicity, hot tamale, and then what was it? Body type, sexy, duh. That was good stuff. That was off of her profile page. Okay, so we then continue when we're doing more of her bio, but she had quite a long bio. She had a lot she had to say about herself. We decided to kind of bust her chops a little bit and make it where it's like it's just going on too long, and so then the music cuts out. And I want to be kind of a funny effect, and then we just sort of abruptly cut off the bio.
I've recently begun to learn how to play electric guitar. My wonderful man just bought me a beautiful Les Paul, so keep an eye out in the near future.
Anyway, this one was a lot of fun to make. It started out really dark the night before, then it completely did a 180 on us. We had a really cool person to do the song about, and then what happened the next day made it even more magical. I get up and I see that she's found we've done the song dedicated to her, put the thing up on MySpace. She's now like posting it and spreading the word about this thing, but she claimed that she's at work and she only just discovered that it was up there, but she's at work and she can't pull it up on her work computer. But so one of her friends like calls her on the phone and puts the phone up to the speaker so she can hear it. She's also got like the music and on her profile. So when you go to see her profile, that's the song that you're hearing. But she was so grateful and so excited, said no one's ever written a song for it. And I can imagine, yeah, how many times has this happened to somebody in their lifetime? But she was super excited about it. And she kept us also always at the top of her friend list. When you'd see her page, that would show her list of her friends and bands she followed. Puss Factory was always the number one. And that's what we did on the second list of like her status and engaged and like orientation. Of the very one, we just made one up and finished the song where we just said favorite band, Puss Factory, and that's the end of the song. Give it a listen on MySpace, or not MySpace, on Spotify. It's on there, 666 Ride My Heart. And I've often thought that anybody that's checked out Puss Factory, when they get to that song, they're probably wondering, what is this? Like, it probably wouldn't make a whole lot of sense unless you knew the whole story behind Puss Factory and Annette or Ride My Heart on this thing. I've lost touch with Annette since MySpace has gone down. I hope she's doing well. It'd be way cool if one day she just happened to stumble upon my YouTube channel and found that I was doing some stories about Puss Factory, and then actually finally did a video about her song. But anyway, I hope you found this entertaining. I am sure having a lot of fun making these. I've got about one more to go. The next one is going to be about the title track, Satan Worships Us, because at this point it was getting close to time to making it, but I still wasn't sure how I was going to make it, what the genre of music would be, and I was a little nervous because I didn't want it to suck, all right? Well, it turns out it didn't, actually. It wound up coming to me. I had a moment where suddenly I'm like, I knew exactly how I wanted to do it. So stay tuned for the next video. Bye.
Orientation, Center, hometown, Antonio, Texas, body type.